Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to do the purl stitch. The purl stitch along with the knit stitch are the basic building blocks of knitting, and you can combine these two techniques together to make all kinds of different textures. Usually people knit in the continental style or the English style of knitting. Today I'm going to be demonstrating the purl stitch in the English style. This means that the working yarn that's connected to the ball of yarn will be held on the right hand side. Here you can see I've already done some knitting and I'm now going to continue. To begin, make sure your needles are held like so, with the needle that has the stitches on being in the left hand. In order to make a purl stitch, the working yarn always needs to be in front of the needles towards you. So before you begin, make sure the yarn is in that position. Now, take the right hand needle down through the front of the first stitch on the left hand needle. Like so. Then cross the needle in front. Hold the needles with your left hand, then take the working yarn from the front and wrap it around the right hand needle point, anti-clockwise. Hold the working yarn onto the right hand needle, then guide that needle from the front all the way around the left hand needle to the back. Notice that during this step the needles stay in contact. Then just push this stitch off the end of the needle. If necessary, pull on the yarn slightly to tighten the stitch. And that's one purl stitch completed. And now I'll show you that again. So take your right hand needle point down through the front of the next stitch and cross the needle in front. Hold the needles with your left hand and wrap the working yarn around the right hand needle point like so. Hold the working yarn onto the right hand needle, then guide this needle from front to back, keeping the needles in contact. And then push the stitch off the end of the needle. And that's another purl stitch completed. And you just repeat that over and over as many times as you wish. So take your right hand needle down through the front of the next stitch and cross the needle in front. Hold the needles with your left hand and wrap the working yarn around the right hand needle point. Hold the working yarn onto the right hand needle and then guide it from front to back, making sure the needles stay in contact. Push the stitch off the end of the needle and pull on the yarn slightly to tighten if necessary. And that's another purl stitch completed. And you repeat this as many times as you wish. Something to keep in mind is that a purl stitch is basically the opposite of a knit stitch. Once you reach the end of the row, all you need to do is swap the needles between your hands and then carry on in exactly the same way. Note that if you do purl stitches on every row, then you'll end up with garter stitch, which is what you can see here. Garter stitch is very recognisable because it has these wavy lines or ridges on both the front and the back. On the other hand, if you alternate between knit rows and purl rows, for instance, you do a row of knit stitches, then a row of purl stitches, row of knits, row of purls, etc., then you end up with stockinette stitch. Stockinette stitch is the most popular pattern in knitting, and it's easy to recognise because it has these V shapes on the front and wavy lines on the back. And that's it. I really hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.